Some important breaking news just in about the federal case against Donald Trump. A federal judge granting the former president's request for a special master, a third party, to review the material the FBI took under search warrant from his Mar-a-Lago home. Let's get straight to our Justice correspondent, Evan Perez. Evan, what do we know?
Well, John, Donald Trump and his legal team got a big victory today from this judge, Aileen Cannon, who has said that the Justice Department essentially has to stop using these documents that were for its investigation. These documents that were retrieved from Mar-a-Lago last month. What she's saying is that there's an intelligence community review that can continue, but for the Justice Department investigation, they can no longer have access to these documents while this special master does its review. Just to remind people, the reason why we have this is the former president and his legal team waited about 3 weeks, and then they made this request to this judge to ask for this third-party lawyer to come in and review these documents. They say they don't trust the Justice Department, they don't trust the FBI to do this fairly. Their chief issue is with the issue of attorney-client privilege material, which the Justice Department, by the way, says is an issue, and they already have a special team that has isolated about 500 pages of documents that they say could be part of this attorney-client privilege issue. But right now, the judge says none of that matters. They're going to have someone else come in and essentially look over the shoulder of the FBI, of the prosecutors, to make sure that everything that should be removed is removed. So right now, what this means, John, is that at least for now, there's a delay in this investigation.
At least for now, a delay. Evan, stand by. Let's bring your colleague, CNN's Kara Scanella, to the conversation as well. Kara, as Evan notes, the judge gave both sides, Trump's lawyers and the Justice Department, until next week to come forward with a proposal now for how this special master process should work out. So it delays, we don't know how long, but it definitely delays the Justice Department investigative review of all those classified records taken from Mar-a-Lago. What else is important in this ruling?
Yeah, John, that's right. So this will delay the review, and according to the filing, they'll have until Friday to come up with a list of candidates, and then that begins this process. And what we've seen in other special master cases is that the review can take several months. So we're looking at what's potentially a lengthy delay in this investigation. Now, there would likely be a delay anyway because of the midterm elections and DOJ policy of not taking any overt steps in a politically sensitive case, but it will slow down this review. And you know, there are often disputes that have to be settled by the special master that can be appealed to the judge. So it's certainly going to, really slow this down and limit the ability of the Justice Department to look at these 11,000 pages of documents that they picked up in this seizure at Mar-a-Lago. I mean, the judge also in this ruling, though, noting that, she found that casting some doubt on the independence of the FBI filter reviews, saying that she thought that it did show harm, and that was one of the reasons why she was granting Trump's request for a special master here, particularly when we haven't had special masters review executive privilege issues. So she's certainly siding with Trump's team here, giving him this short-term victory in this investigation, John.
Let's bring in additional perspective, the former federal prosecutor, Jennifer Rogers. Jennifer, I was trying to read this ruling as quick as I could. It came out just before we came on the air. And to Kara's point, Judge Cannon here is rejecting the Justice Department's narrow view of executive privilege. The Justice Department's view is Donald Trump is no longer president. He does not have executive privilege. The judge here doesn't say he definitely does, but she says it's an open question. It's not a closed case, and that should be explored. She also writes in making the case for a special master, she says the investigation and treatment of a former president is of unique interest to the general public, and the country is served best by an orderly process that promotes the interest and perception of fairness. So Judge Cannon saying slowing down here is good for everybody. You made the point in a conversation last week that you thought this was out of bounds. What now?
Well, I still think that it's legally unjustified, John, because I don't think you can show irreparable harm. There's just never been a case where irreparable harm has been shown by being under criminal investigation. That's one of the key things that the Justice Department does, the executive branch does, is criminally investigate people. So the notion that that can establish irreparable harm, to me, still says that this is a legally wrong decision. On the other hand, this notion that this is so extraordinary and that she's granting it because it's the former president, I think is sort of good news for the Justice Department, because one of the problems with this was that it sets a precedent for other defendants down the road who say, hey, wait a minute, you've searched my stuff. I want a special master, even though it's not my lawyer's office and there's no reason to believe a lot of privileges apply. So I think that that piece of it is good. And I also think there's a little bit of a silver lining here in the sense that I don't think that ultimately there are going to be a lot of privileged documents found, very, very few attorney-client privilege documents. And even on the executive privilege side, executive privilege would only pertain if documents were created in the executive branch, really at the White House. And so many of these documents are going to have been created other places. So while it does delay things and slow it down, which of course is bad for DOJ in their case, I think at the end of the day, we're not going to see a lot of documents pulled by the special master.
As we wait the process, before we move on, Kara, Evan, just jump in. We obviously, some questions partly unfair because this just happened and we're waiting for Justice Department reaction. But do we have any indication, any reporting that suggests, the judge had leaned in saying she was likely to do this? Would the Justice Department try to appeal this, try to fight this at a higher court, or will they eat their peas, if you will?
Yeah, I mean, I think Kara was in court last week during some of this, and one of the things that we heard from the Justice Department is that they asked specifically for the judge to structure her ruling in a way that they can appeal it. So we'll see what happens in the next few days because, as Jennifer points out, this issue of executive privilege is sort of just a strange one, right? Because it's never been fought over in something like this. And so we don't know where the courts are going to end up with this, John. And certainly we don't know if this is going to have to go all the way to the Supreme Court before we even are able to move on. I don't know what else. Kara might have some thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think to what Evan's point, the Justice Department prosecutors in court yesterday or last week were saying they wanted this in a way that it was something that they could potentially appeal. They didn't say that they would definitely do so. I think part of that would depend on the contours of this order that just came down moments ago. One of the issues that DOJ said quite firmly in the hearing was that, the former president has no claims of executive privilege here, and they really argued strenuously that there was no grounds for the judge to do this at all. So, now that this essentially gives Trump the win that he wanted and it joins their investigation, we're just waiting to see how DOJ is going to formally respond here.